Hi, everybody. This is Lowell with another thought about creativity, and particularly creativity with composition and music creation. Um, I'm going to try to encapsulate some of the things that we've talked about already and then add this one other thought to it. Um, so, we started out by talking about getting a seed idea or an inspired idea that can come to you at any point during the day. You see something that somebody does, you hear somebody else's music, you see a piece of art, you see a landscape, you take a walk and see something beautiful, uh, you know, uh, flowers and trees and birds and all the different things that is in our creation. All of these things are inspiring and can give you a seed idea, but that idea comes to you, and so it's not something that you've necessarily generated, but it's something that you're imbibing. You imbibe the inspiration, the beauty that's around you, or comes to you in like sometimes with me in the middle of the night or waking up. I have just an inspired idea that comes to me and hits me. So that's kind of the beginning of creativity in my view. And then what you do with that is you capture the idea and then you put it down. I captured on paper. I think pencil and paper is, for me, is the greatest invention in history. So uh, particularly the eraser. So I get there are many ideas um, and ways of crafting ideas that an eraser comes in handy. But anyway, so you capture the idea, and then you start doing what we call motivically developing the idea and sketching out the idea in a long range form. Many times it's just the way that you sketch a light pencil on a painting before you actually fill it in. So you get the idea out in a general sense before you really start editing it or fleshing it out and making it bigger. Um, Many times for me, that'll end up being just a single line of composition that runs the entire uh, gamut of, basically a couple pages of manuscript. And then what I what I do in the concept that I wanted to share now is once you have those main concepts in the overall scope of what you want to create kind of framed in, then it's time to start adding the other elements, kind of the supportive elements that to that main idea. And in the last video we talked about let the idea spring forth from itself, and that's also basically what I'm trying to share here is an extension of that idea, except taking the idea of fleshing out and the supportive elements, letting those elements come from the original inspired idea as well. And that can also involve motivic development and all the different aspects of drawing from the original idea to extrapolate that into various iterations of that idea, even in the supportive elements. So, getting more specifically, by doing, I'm just going to try to put it into more simplistic terms. So you've created this melody that and or linear stream of consciousness thought from the beginning to the end, and you have that line basically. Now you take some of those same motivic elements, whatever the patterns, the intervallic patterns that you were using to create what you already have, use some of that same material and even the melody that you have, what you already have, let that speak to how you're going to support the information. For example, if you have, I'm just creating something off the top of my head, but if you have a melody, part of your melody, part of your linear idea would be something like, da da da, say that intervallic pattern simplistically. Then you could have, let's say, a supportive harmony or bass line that does that in a longer form, dun, 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 underneath supportive, or you could have little elements that are sprinkled in, that are behind the scenes or textural, in another part, same pattern, same intervallic pattern, but in different ways, that are supportive to the main idea and the main flow. So what I'm trying to say is let the material that you already have provide the framework and material, the foundational material of all of the elements that you end up adding to fill in the painting, to fill in all the different areas of making it a full, complete idea. Let all of those ideas also come from the original idea, and that what that does is it creates a sense of completion, a sense of homogeneity, a sense of unity for the entire work. That it's all basically one organism flowing together, instead of separate ideas that are conflicting, which is fine if you want that. There are times where you want to create that sense, but generally what you're trying to do is create an organic, synthesized synthesis of ideas, where all the ideas are congruent, and to the listener, where they sense wholeness, they sense that this is a complete idea, and that there's nothing in the creation of what you've brought forth that doesn't belong there. Kind of an economy of means, where it's a clearly defined idea all the way through from the beginning to the end. So let your ideas, even for the supporting elements of your main idea, come and extend from the original idea.